Bob Woodward. Before we talk about the budget battle, which you describe in your book, let's start with the title. What exactly is the price of politics? Here on Wall Street, we know the prices of everything. We just look on the stock market and we find them. What about in Washington?
Well, the price of politics may be the biggest price the country pays, because what the book shows over 3.5 years, Obama, the Congress, trying to solve the problem of overspending, which we're, we are on a spending binge. And when it gets down to deal making, they all fall back on their own political points of view, and so they don't solve the problem.
And you've clearly been following Washington politics for a long time. Is it really as bad as people say it is when it comes to the two parties trying to work things out?
Well, the book shows the gridlock and the unwillingness to make any compromise, and as you well know, this gets to be a numbers game. There's $16 trillion in IOUs out in the world from the federal government, and next year they're going to have to go back and get authorization from Congress for another $1 trillion or $2 trillion, and they weren't able to work it out in the past. What are they going to do this time? I think we're in peril. It's explosive.
Well, let's talk about some of the players in your book. Let's start with Senate Majority and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Harry Reid. Reading your book, it seemed like they were less intractable, more negotiable than the press made them out to be. What do you think? Yeah,
they could do things, they could work things out often, but in public they were at loggerheads. Mitch McConnell, is as well reported, said that his chief goal is to make sure Obama's a one-term president. In that interview where he said that years ago, he also said he wants Obama to change, not fail. So that's not necessarily unusual. One of the most interesting points about McConnell when I talked to him is he laid the blame on the president for the failure to avoid the sequestration that's coming on the budget next year.
Well, we'll get to the president in a second, but let's talk about House Majority Leader Eric Cantor, because he came off very badly in the press. Deservedly so?
Well, he has his point of view. He is much more allied with the Tea Party than the Speaker, and there's a war going on in the Republican Party, and he tried to balance it, sometimes successfully, sometimes not, and I chart that in the book.
How powerful is the Tea Party? They seem to me like the Bond vigilantes down there in Washington.
Well, the Tea Party has a say. They control sometimes, but not all the time. And in the book, you see that it's Speaker Boehner who is out there trying to make a deal with Obama, trying to get some sort of tax reform, entitlement reform, and he fails in part because of the Tea Party, because the Tea Party will not go along with anything that might suggest a revenue increase to the federal government or the U.S. Treasury.
This market has fewer players.
We're coming into a Monday where we're going
would enter in a new stage attack.
It's a stock picker's market.
Welcome to the 5 dumbest things
Apple
on Wall Street.
reported earnings.